Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about a story that the mainstream liberal media is not going to like, okay? They're not going to want to talk about this one, okay? Because it involves a case of racism, okay, that did not happen in the direction that they usually tell us that, racism happens in this country, okay? And a woke company also is paying the price for being in bed with radical extremists, right? And the company that we're talking about here is Starbucks, who I've done multiple videos about lately in regards to how they continuously pay the price for endorsing woke extremism, okay? We all know that Starbucks is extremely woke, okay? And they, again, continue to pay the price for being woke, as they have been ordered to pay $25 million to a manager because they fired her for being white. Yes. Again, you don't usually hear stories that go in this direction, but that's how this story went. Now, this story is about a story that some of you guys are familiar with, okay? This happened back in 2018, I believe, where you had two black men go into Starbucks to allegedly meet with a real estate business partner, right? This is a story that they're telling us, okay? And they wanted to use the bathroom. However, they were denied the opportunity to use the bathroom because they weren't paying, okay? So they weren't paying customers. They were just sitting in there waiting for a business partner, not buying anything, which, again, some people may say that that's rude, okay? That, maybe, people shouldn't do that. You shouldn't go into restaurants, sit there, take up a seat, not buy anything, and use the facilities, right? But they were denied access to the restroom, and then they were eventually asked to leave because presumably they were just sitting there talking, not buying anything, and wanting to use the facilities, right? So they were asked to leave. I guess they refused to leave, and then that's when the Starbucks employee called the police on them. The police showed up and arrested them for trespassing. So that predictably resulted in protests, boycotts, and threats against Starbucks, allegations of racism. And of course, these victims went on a social media tour and a media tour basically talking about how racist this incident was. Take a look.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. It has been quite a week. It's been quite a week. Dante, you both walk in, you get a table. Rashawn, how long was it before you asked to use the restroom?
Immediately, as soon as I walked in. And she stated that they were for paying customers only, and I just left it at that moment.
And the response was, you have to buy something?
Yes.
Then you go and find Dante. You're at the table. What happened next?
We're at the table. We sit down. We're just talking amongst each other. She then comes from around the register, walks up to us, asks if, she can help us with anything. Can we start with some drinks or water or something like that? For when we have bottles of water with us. So, we're fine. We're just waiting for a meeting. We'll be out really quick type thing. And that was it. So
approximately 4:35, you arrive for a 4:45 business meeting. According to 911 accounts, a call was placed at 4:37, approximately 2 minutes after you arrived, to 911. What did you think when you saw police arrive, Dante?
You can't be here for us.
So when they do approach you, what do they say and how do you react?
Well, initially, as soon as they approached us, they just said we have to leave. There was no question of, was there a problem here between you guys and the manager? What happened?
When you were arrested, did they tell you what you were being arrested for?
No, not at the time. He wasn't read any rights. Nothing. Just double lock, handcuffs behind our back, and escorted out and put into a squad car.
Why do you both think that store manager called 911?
Well, Robin, you're asking them to have an opinion about somebody else's intent. The facts speak for themselves.
Because of racism, right? Again, that is what that person is alluding to there, okay? He's trying to basically say, well, we all know, right? It's because the Starbucks employee was a flaming racist, right? So, yeah, again, predictably, the woke revolutionaries got upset about this and, boycotted, made threats, did a whole bunch of stuff towards Starbucks. And of course, Starbucks bended to the woke controversy by firing a white manager who they felt like did not respond appropriately or did not respond enough to what was happening. Okay, and now this white manager is getting paid $25 million because this person was fired because they were white, and they were able to prove that in court. Okay, so I want to talk about it, but before I get into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel and you want to support my channel, you can check out my merch, including my signature racist mug. I now have a black edition of this mug with a daily reminder of the 2023 definition of racist, according to the left, which is anybody who disagrees with the Democrat Party. It also has my logo on the back. You guys can check that out at my website, gforemanbcp.com. Get 20% off using discount code TEAMBCP. So without further ado, let's get into this. A U.S. District Court jury in Camden, New Jersey, awarded $25.6 million to a white former Starbucks manager who claimed the company engaged in reverse discrimination when it fired her amid protests over the arrest of 2 black customers. Okay, so first and foremost, it's not reverse discrimination, right? It's just discrimination, okay? Jurors heard Shannon Phillips claim that she was fired because the company needed a scapegoat as it faced a public relations crisis over the racially charged incident. Starbucks came under heavy criticism after a manager at a Philadelphia location called police to report that the 2 men were sitting down at the cafe without ordering anything. Following a 6-day trial, the jury awarded $300,000 in compensatory damages and $12.5 million in punitive damages on Phillips' federal civil rights claim, and another $30,000 in compensatory and $12.5 million in punitive damages for violations of New Jersey's law against discrimination. Senior U.S. Judge Joel H. Slomsky of the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, who presided at the trial, will award lost back pay and future wages and will consider a fee application at a later date. The company claimed at trial that Phillips, a regional manager, oversees cafes in part of New Jersey and Philadelphia, was fired for being ineffective and absent in the period after the arrest. So I'm not entirely sure what that means. Right? She was fired for being ineffective and absent. What does that actually really mean? I'm not sure. Okay. But again, apparently, this is BS, that she was actually fired, not for that, but because she was white and Starbucks needed a scapegoat. They needed to show that, hey, we got rid of some white folks, okay, who are managing the company. Can you please stop being mad at us, okay, for what happened at this Starbucks? Again, I kind of believe, for how woke the company is, that that's exactly what they were thinking. But jurors also heard testimony that the employee who called police was complying with a Starbucks policy that applied to cafes in areas with crime problems. Yeah, so ding, 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 right? So apparently, this Starbucks employee, who people keep saying is racist, right? They said, well, they called the police because these men are black, and that clearly there's racism going on here, right? But apparently, Starbucks has a policy because that Starbucks is in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a crime-ridden city, right? Apparently, Starbucks has a policy that applies to cafes in those areas because they have crime problems where it's like, look, you just can't come in here and sit, okay, because you might be a criminal, right? Not because you're black, because you might be a criminal, and it's likely that you could be a criminal, okay, because you're in Philadelphia. But anyways, you can't come in here and just sit and not pay for anything. You have to prove that you are a customer, okay? We're not just going to let you use facilities to, I don't know, go into the back room or the bathroom and pull out your gun or whatever. Like, no, we're not going to let you do that, right? You have to prove you're a paying customer, that you're here legitimately. And if you don't, then you got to leave. Again, I understand how people always want to pull the race card and cry racism when black people don't get their way. But sometimes you got to examine what could be all possible reasons why this happened to you besides your skin color. More than likely, okay, 99.9% of the time, you're going to be able to come up with some reason that has nothing to do with your skin color if you actually examine the situation honestly, okay? But, you know, in that situation, again, the wokes just want to assume that, well, this Starbucks employee called the police on these men because they're black, right? And when I'm pretty sure there are a ton of black customers that go into that Starbucks that they didn't call the police on, right? It's just funny how that works. That Starbucks employee just decided that one day that, hey, I'm going to be a racist, right? I'm going to be a racist and try to get these two black men arrested for no reason. Again, amazing stuff. The jury also heard testimony from a black Starbucks manager, Paul Sykes, who was the supervisor of the employee who called 911. And allegedly, this guy, Paul Sykes, actually was responsible for giving that employee a promotion, right? So I want y'all to understand, a black manager gave a alleged racist Starbucks employee a promotion, right? So apparently this manager didn't see all this racism that this employee had, okay, before promoting this person. But hey, you know, Sykes said Phillips, who is his boss, was fired because of her race, and he was safe because of his, according to Laura Mantiasi of Council Mantiaci in Morristown, New Jersey, who represented Phillips. Yeah, so apparently the black Starbucks manager testified that, yeah, I mean, I kept my job because I'm black, and they fired her because she's white. Again, this is the immediate manager, okay? So they didn't fire the immediate manager who's black for this incident, okay? They didn't fire him. They fired his manager, right? And people are asking questions, okay, well, why did you fire the person that's more removed from the situation than the guy who's actually closer to this situation, who would probably be more responsible if you want to place blame on why this happened? Well, again, the process of elimination, okay, the jury went through that and they found that, seems that they fired this woman because she's white, right? And because there's no other reason why they would fire her and not fire the black guy. So again, it's just amazing how Starbucks got caught. Quote, Shannon Phillips is very grateful that the jury saw the truth of what happened. Mantiasi said of the verdict. Kate O'Elitigen and Holly Smith of Mantiasi's firm assisted her at trial. Starbucks lawyer Richard Harris of Holland and Knight in Philadelphia said he was not authorized to discuss the case. Starbucks communication staff did not respond to a request for comment. The arrest of the two men brought the company heavy social media attention and prompted the one-day shutdown of all its U.S. stores so employees could undergo racial bias trading. Yeah, so all that because a Starbucks employee basically enforced the policy that they have because of crime, right? Amazing how that works. Also, what's amazing is how they're forcing employees to undergo racial bias training, but turn around and fire a manager because she's white, okay? Seems to me that the woke revolutionaries running this company actually need to do racial bias training rather than everybody else. Again, it's just amazing. But again, this is what happens when you get in bed with these woke people, bruh, right? This is exactly what happens. This is exactly what happened. The jury of 5 men and 3 women found unanimously in Phillips's favor. It deliberated after Slopsky denied Phillips's request for sanctions based on Starbucks' production on the eve of trial of a video from a security camera on the day of the 2 arrests. Mattiacci requested the video in 2020, but did not receive it until 3 years later. In September 2022, Slopsky denied Starbucks' motion to dismiss, finding that a reasonable jury could conclude that some white employees of the company got unfavorable treatment based on their race. Mattiacci said she will seek roughly $3 million for past and future lost pay and roughly $1 million on her fee application, which will include a fee enhancement based on her decision to take a law against discrimination case on contingency. Yeah, so here's the thing, man. Starbucks, again, you know, it's almost like they never learn, right? Again, this is what happens when you go woke, when you get in bed with woke revolutionaries. You're trying so hard to appease a certain group of people who can't be appeased, that can't be pleased, that can't be satisfied, that you go and become what you claim you're fighting against, okay? You fired this woman because she was white, all right? There was no reason that she should have been fired. if you weren't going to fire the black manager, right? But again, they know if they would have fired the black manager, that would have been a bad look. They would be like, why are you firing the black guy in response to black men being arrested, right? So again, they did something in which they overtly discriminated against this woman because she's white, and then they got to pay the price. Again, it's just amazing, okay? It's absolutely amazing. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.